Hello and welcome to Loving Me, Myself, and Life with me, Jody Misiak. Today I want to take it back to where this podcast all began. March 8th, 2020, International Women's Day. I thought it was a perfect day to launch my second podcast, my solo podcast. And here I am. Now, when I launched it, I did all of the podcasts ahead of time. Like I had probably 8 or so recorded and ready to go because I am a mother of 2 young kids. So I know life can kind of, knock you around. I was also in the middle of repainting. We were painting. We had painters in. Our house was a mess. Things were crazy. Trying to get it all done before March break. And the kids were home. Little did I know that the kids would be staying home and that our house hunting was put on hold. It was so funny that here I am frustrated with painters not, it didn't seem they were doing, their job correctly and things like that. That was my biggest concern, or getting the paint job done before March break was my biggest concern. And yet there was a bigger life change in front of my eyes and for the world. And I want to talk into this. I don't talk about it much. Don't worry, it's not going to be some crazy, my opinions on anything. So it's not going to be about me, sharing, my thoughts on how the world should be looking or whatever. But I want to share what I personally have experienced these past 2 years, because I think it's important that if you've been having some difficult times, that you're not alone. There's a ton of people out there. And I want to kind of be honest, not insanely honest. I want to be honest, brutally honest, I guess, with you about how these past 2 years have been. And because I've been in reflecting mode. I just finished my confidence workshop that I held, and I'm in between my next project that I'm really, really excited about. Actually, I have 2 really big ones. So hopefully, this next little break that I'm in, it's this little lull that I have before I really, get deep into the next project, because, I put my heart and soul into everything, including this podcast. And when I do a project like the confidence workshop and things like that, I put as much energy that I can muster without, taking away from my family and myself into these projects. And the next one is even bigger. So I am taking a week or so just to kind of breathe. But in doing so, a lot of things have come up, and really, even during the workshop that I was teaching, it's like, oh yeah, wow, things have changed. So here it goes. This is how my 2 years have been. I have had some really amazing ups, some incredible, incredible moments of insanely awesome moments. I moved into my dream home. I moved across the country where I just feel so at home and so in peace around my surroundings. Right now, when I'm doing this podcast, I am looking at the mountains. And now there's bushes in the way, so I can't see the ocean from where I'm sitting, but I know it's there too. And the sun is shining, and it's March, and it's so nice out. So anyways, I'm just so happy and at peace. And I saw orcas a while back. So something I never thought in my life that I could just be living, where you could just not run into, because I'm not, walking in the ocean, but see orcas, on a Friday afternoon. So there's been some really big, amazing moments in my life. There's also been some dark moments where I don't know what I'm doing next or who I really am sometimes. There's been some moments, and I might have talked into this before. Maybe I haven't. I know I shared it in my Loving Tribe emails. I was always the person that I never watched the news. I never read the news, because I really was trying to surround myself with a lot of positive energy. I, was even in the move. It was crazy, but I was always listening to inspirational things, like books and just everything. I just immersed myself with positive vibrations and feelings, and just it felt so good. I did a lot of reading on self help books or personal development books, and I just like immersed my world in that, and the news was just not a thing for me. And then I and then 2 years happened. I didn't even know anything was coming straight on because I was not in the news. I think my brother was over helping us clear out some stuff, and he gave me a heads up that schools might be closed. I'm like, why are schools going to get closed? So I know I might sound like in the dark, but there's times where you just really, the news can just bring you down itself. Anyways, I found myself in this not great loop, and I actually have been browsing the internet a lot more and reading news articles and keeping up to date with things. And then I was like, my energy is so low from all this. Like, it's just a bag of negativity. So in January, I told myself, I'm going to have a dry January. And I don't mean alcohol, I mean from the news. And it didn't last long. I'm going to be honest, it did not last long. However, I found a new balance, and I'm always like, but what about if like there's changes with schools and, all these things that pop up in our heads. I'm like, you know what? I'm on the email list for school. If anything important pops up, I will know, or somebody will tell me. So I'm going back to, focusing my energy on positive, because I have gotten so beat down by so much negativity. I've even gotten off of social media for the most part. Like, I haven't closed any accounts down, but if you've noticed, I'm not there very often. I was trying, and for the confidence workshop, like, I'm being brutally honest here. Confidence workshop, I had a private group I opened for the confidence workshop so people could share their wins, their struggles, communicate with one another, lean on one another. And that week was hell for me. It was hell. Because even getting to the group, like, other things popped up in social media that I'm like, why is this happening? Why am I reading this? And then I lose an hour. I'm like, where did that hour go? I get lost in the world of social media. Now, I have nothing against social media. I just feel like right now it is not my best place to put my energy or where it's focused. And I will come back. I do share coffee chat once a month on Facebook and on my YouTube channel. It's just, there's so much negativity out there, and I've decided to choose love. So I'm not going to the places. And now, obviously, if I could share more positive posts, there'll be more love. But for me to get to that point, I have to see some negativity. Like, I'm working on that part personally. So I'm being completely honest here. This is like super, and some people might be mad at me for doing this, but personally I had to make a decision for my own mental health. And I only post on my personal page so family can see the kids growing up, because we moved away. So, and to keep in touch with friends, but I don't really, it's just, I post from my phone pictures and I don't look, just because that's where I'm at right now. And it's just knowing where your attention goes, your energy flows. So if I'm focusing on negativity, that's when I feel really I get depressed. I get really depressed when I'm just, in that social media rabbit hole or news hole. So what I've decided is to just, do what I can. Obviously, I'm not perfect. I'm not human, or I am human. I am human. And I'm going to, mess up sometimes, and I'm going to slip and watch, or read an article or something like that. However, it's being more mindful of where my energy is. Because here's the thing, I am so grateful that I had all these my self-love practice. Like, I was really deep in it for a couple of years, especially when that's all that was holding my life together when my son wasn't sleeping through the night. It was a really tough couple of years there. However, it was the most beautiful years because all I focused on was my business, and obviously taking care of my family and me. I was reading everything. I had affirmations up the wazoo on my my wall. I was really immersed in what I was reading and what I was also sharing. And I was just in it and living it. And it was really holding me up. And I'm so grateful that I had that to lean back on. But here's some more truth. It isn't always enough. There's days where I just find myself wanting to watch TV and just like numb out. And I'm not a big believer in that, but sometimes we just need to take a break. Our minds don't always need to be on. We don't always need to be healing. We don't always need to be bettering, especially if we're feeling dark and heavy. Now, obviously, I would recommend watching something a little more light and fluffy so you're not putting dark energy in, but, that's just my own opinion. We're all able to have our own opinions. And like I said, these 2 years have been very amazing. Like so much amazingness has happened. And I'm so incredibly grateful most of the days. However, there are days that it's just like, ugh. Especially last year when we couldn't see a single person other than at pickup and things because of just life. And it was feeling a little claustrophobic. However, I'm very grateful we live in a community of just so incredible, amazing, loving people. So it's been quite incredible at the same time. But that doesn't mean I don't struggle. That doesn't mean that it's not hard. My mental health has been on the top of my list for quite some time now. Over the past year or even a little bit more. I was very fortunate that we were in the middle of a big move, or else I don't know how I would have reacted to all the changes. But we were personally in our own change, and we were in a really beautiful change. So we embraced that. We didn't focus on anything else. We embraced the new changes. And it was really incredible. And then as we get settled in, it's like, okay, here we are. We're planting roots, and sometimes when stressful situations happen, we fall into old patterns. And then luckily I can be mindful of that sometimes, but it happens. And I was like, oof, here I go again. Like I'm falling into an old pattern, and it happens to all of us. So I'm sharing this all with you because I want to be open and honest with you. One of my biggest values, personal values I wrote down for this year is truth. To be honest with myself and to be honest with everybody in my life. And that includes you. And I was sitting, preparing this morning. It's like, what am I going to do? Because I really wanted to talk into like International Women's Day because it's really where this podcast started. And I know it doesn't land on a Sunday when the podcast comes out, but I'm just getting ahead of the game a couple days this year. Anyways, and that's when I was kind of like I was feeling I had a down moment. I'm like, you know what? I really need to be open and honest. I can be bubbly and probably annoying at times to some people of how outgoing and ambitious and just like, yay, and floaty. And it's me. That's who I am most of the time. But I have moments of miserable feelings. There was a day where I asked my husband to pick the kids up from school because I'm like, look, I'm just not in a good mindset to say hi to people. I'm grumpy. And when I know I'm grumpy, I try not to take it out on anybody else. My poor husband is kind of in the view a lot of the time because we live together and we work together in the same house during the day and every day. So it can get a lot. So relationships are, pushing at things and, our own mental states. There's just so much going on. So I want to let you know that it's okay to just be where you are. It's okay to feel frustrated that life is not what you want it to be, or that things are just not working out where you are. It's okay to get mad It's okay to just let those feelings wash over you, but let them wash over you. Don't sit in them too long, because then they take on their own identity and they become yours. Feel it. Have a couch day. Have a lazy, fun movie day, whatever you want to do. I personally, when we do this, I try to make it fun. So it's not like, oh, I'm just going to lay out on the couch all day. I, get the kids involved. We watch a nice movie. We just have a good day of it. Or if you need personal time, have a day. But, it doesn't have to be this negative thing about sitting on the couch. You can sit, indulge yourself in a book. Actually, one of my biggest things that I've started to do again is read other people's books again, motivational books, because honestly, I have been just having fun, getting to know the new area and then grabbing a nice novel of just fun leisure books instead. I actually had it where I forget what my goal was, but was it 10 a year of motivational books? I forget. It might even been more. Maybe it was 12, so one a month. And now I don't have that because I actually want to read and then take it in. Last week's episode was about Excuses Be Gone, how I started reading that book. So I really want to take it in, really, live it and experience it. And sometimes I've used to just rush through a book. And that was helpful for me too, because I was always filling myself up with positivity and inspiration. And when you're inspired, you can help others in the world. There are days where I wanted to record this episode weeks ago. And maybe it was perfect timing because then this was brewing inside of me to share. But the other week, I just didn't have it in me. I didn't feel motivated to share. And when that happens, I don't push. I just take a day and it's okay, I need to do a check-in with myself. I need to see what's going on. Maybe I just need to sleep a little bit more, or maybe I just need to take a me day. Whatever's showing up, I stay in that moment and see what I need. We all need different things. And if I've learned anything over the last 2 years is I need different things than I did 2 years ago. These past 2 years have changed me a lot. There are I never really was one for anxiety, and then I felt it a lot while we were moving. Stress, yes, and even my stress levels, it's taken on a different shape for me. And I have all these tools in my toolkit, which is so good. My self-care, my self-love practice. I have so many self-care activities I know that help. But sometimes it's it feels I need a lot more of it, a lot more time and energy to really boost my energy back up, or bring myself to more empowering awesomeness than I used to. Not always, but sometimes. And I feel it's sometimes soaking in the negativity that I have. It's this fine balance, right? If you're taking in negativity, how do you get rid of it? Right? It's like a sponge with water. You put it in water and it just keeps soaking it up. Well, think of those as negative thoughts and energy. You're soaking it up. You have to wring it out so you can feel like you again. You can feel lighter and more energetic and more confident and loving. And I feel those sponges get soaked up so much faster these days. And then it takes a longer time to wring it out and get back to where feeling good. However, other times, if I am more mindful of where I'm focusing my energy, it doesn't take as long. So yes, I have some dark days. I have some frustrated times, but most of the time, it's really good. I want to dedicate this episode to you, to all the women out there trying to make their lives better, to try and make themselves better. It's not so much about being better, but to re-find and discover who you authentically are, who it is you really are, and become fascinated with your own self, the relationship that you have between you and yourself. So go out there and authentically show up as you. Be you, loud or quiet, whatever it may be, and embrace those moments that make you smile. And when you're not feeling good, send yourself some love. Take care of yourself. Do what you need to do in that moment and know that you are loved. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for being here. I really appreciate it. And I just share it if you feel called to share this podcast with anybody, this episode or any of it at all. I honestly I'm a one-woman business right now. So I am the marketer. I am everything right now other than the roles I have my husband do. Someday I hope to expand. But for now, if you feel called to share any of the episodes or this one in particular, I would be incredibly grateful that you could play a little role in getting the message out there, my love that I give out to this world. So thank you again for being here. I am incredibly, incredibly grateful for you. You're doing an amazing job. Just being here listening to this episode is it's a huge step towards, your most amazing, incredible life. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day. Bye for now.